And we're good.
Hi, I'm Bob Cabana. I'm currently the director of the Kennedy Space Center down in Florida, and I have had an awesome career in aviation and space, and I'd like to share a little bit with you today. This is for all the students over in Hudson. First off, I want you to have a passion for what you do. And my passion was aviation ever since I was a little kid. If you have a passion for what you do, two things are going to happen. First off, you're going to do well at it. But secondly, you're going to enjoy life. And that's what it's all about. It's enjoying what you do and doing well at it. I grew up here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, went to Washburn High School, and I went off to the United States Naval Academy because I wanted to be a naval aviator and fly jets off aircraft carriers. When I graduated, I got a commission in the Marine Corps, which is part of the Navy, and I was headed off for flight school. And when I got down to Pensacola, I failed my eye test. I was crushed, all right? And I said, well, can I be a naval flight officer? And they said yes. And those are the guys that sit in the back seat or in the right seat of an A6 like I did. And after 3 years, and I'm always passing my annual physical with 20/20 eyesight, I finally convinced them to let me go back to pilot training, and I earned my wings as a naval aviator. All right, so I didn't get into flight training on the first try. Well, then I wanted to be a test pilot and use all the math and engineering I had in school along with flying. So as soon as I had 1,000 hours of flight time, I applied for Navy test pilot school. I didn't get in on the first try. They didn't need any A6 pilots. But 6 months later, I got picked up for test pilot school. So I didn't get into test pilot school on the first try. Well, then I said, hey, I could be an astronaut. When I was a midshipman at the Naval Academy, the Physics Honor Society took a field trip down to Florida, and I got to see Apollo 13 launch. And I remember being in the vehicle assembly building, seeing the Saturn V rockets stacked up to go to the moon. And I never dreamed I could be an astronaut, but Jim Lovell, Naval Academy graduate, was the commander of that mission. Well, in 1978, NASA started taking astronauts for the shuttle program. Now, in 78 and 80, when they took classes, I hadn't graduated from test pilot school. But in 1984, I'd been a test pilot for a couple of years, and I applied for the astronaut program. I just waited for that call, and the call came, and they said, sorry, Bob, you didn't make it. And I was really disappointed. But they said, we're going to take some more next year. We'd like you to try again. So I went through the whole process and reapplied again and was fortunate enough to get selected in 1985. So I didn't get into pilot training, test pilot school, or the astronaut program on the first try. But they're all things I wanted to do, and I didn't give up. So what I'm asking you to do is find your passion. Mine was aviation. Then set a goal for yourself, and don't give up if you don't get it on the first try. Anything worth doing is worth continuing to keep trying for. But do things that you enjoy, because if you enjoy it, you're going to do well at it. So all you students over in Hudson, I want you to set your goals, work hard, and always do your best. And only you know in your heart when you've given your best. If you got a test and one day you don't study at all and you get a B on that test, a B is a pretty darn good grade, but you didn't study. You could have gotten an A. If you studied as hard as you could and you only got a C, it's okay. You gave it your best. Always give your best and don't give up. Now keep charging.